And good morning, and thank you all for coming. And before I start my remarks, let me just introduce who I have here with me so you all know. First, I've got Dr. Lou Matthews from the Ministry of Education. I've got PC Latanya Smith. I've got the principal of the school, Ms. Williams. I got 4 of our young, budding, talented students to join us today, and Mr. Lathan from the school as well. I'm pleased to be able today to provide an update on the gang resistance and training initiative called GRAPE. This is another tool in the fight against the increase in violent crime in Bermuda. We're determined to win back our communities by promoting alternatives to the gang lifestyle and its illegal activities. As some of you might be aware, GRAPE is an effective gang and violence prevention program that's built around a classroom experience by law enforcement officers. This program is intended as an early intervention against delinquency, youth violence, and gang membership for children in the years immediately before the prime ages for introduction into gangs and antisocial behavior. Bermuda's gang issue is by no means resolved, and it is the responsibility of law enforcement and government to use every available opportunity to combine strong enforcement with clear alternatives to the gang lifestyle. This government has provided the police with the resources to effect the strong presence in the community, and likewise, we have implemented Team Street Safe gang mediation program to work with those who are caught up in the dead-end path of the gang life. I'm extremely grateful to U.S. Consul General Mr. Robert Secchi for all that the U.S. Consulate Office here in Bermuda has done to assist as we research and implement best practice programs and services with the sole aim of addressing problems of antisocial behavior and the gang-related violence here in Bermuda. The U.S. Consulate assisted us in contacting Mr. Ron Doyle at the Institute for Intergovernmental Research via the U.S. State Department, and we discussed the re-implementation of this program back into the Bermuda schools. As some of you might be aware, Bermuda previously participated in this program when the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms managed it some years ago. In the U.S., it is now under the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Department. GRAPE requires sworn law enforcement, correction, or probation personnel to instruct its curriculum. The intent is to build bridges between children and the criminal justice personnel, and to leverage this knowledge and experience of the professionals in dealing with the consequences of violence, delinquency, and gang involvement. And this also gives them the greater credibility on the topic in the eyes of our students. I'm also grateful to the Bermuda Police Service and the following 4 community action teams for the officers who volunteered in these programs. They are PC Marlon Jackman, PC Latanya Smith, who's here with us today, PC Simon Joseph, and PC Peter Philpott. The CAT officers had the opportunity to go to great officer training and great families training sessions in Brockton, Mass. Between August 5th and 16th of last year, as this provided an opportunity for our officers to receive the 2 courses consecutively. In an effort to meet our commitment to reintroduce this program to the Bermuda schools, the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Community, Culture, and Sports each sponsored officers to partake in this training to share the costs around various government departments. The training is a very comprehensive course that focuses in on the structure and the content of great curriculum and provides knowledge of current gang trends while building the skills required to teach it in a classroom setting. I am very pleased to be able to confirm here today that each officer has been certified to teach the middle school curriculum, the elementary curriculum, as well as a summer program. The family training program prepares our officers to plan, to organize, and to conduct the great family program within our communities. Each is certified to train their own co-facilitation teams, which includes teachers, youth counselors, members of the faith community, parents, or qualified adults who are committed to working with families. We are very proud that each of our officers of what they've achieved with their new certifications. And today, as you can see, we're here at Victor Scott School, where P5 students became the first group to receive the GRADE program last Monday. GRADE is also to be delivered at Somerset Primary and West End Primary School, and it is due to start later this week at the Elliott Primary School. It is also our goal to have this program at 8 primary schools and to launch a middle school pilot program later in the school term. The fight against the destructive influence of the gang lifestyle cannot be confined to traditional law enforcement or simply reacting to senseless violence when it occurs. This government is serious about prevention, and GRADE offers a program with significant means by which to drive home to our young people that this community cares about all of you and is determined to equip you with the tools to making positive contributions to our society. With those prepared comments, I'm happy to answer any questions, and anybody can speak.
How large is the gang problem in your estimation?
The police have talked about this for some time now. It's hard to say how large it is, but we know there are a number of gangs that stretch from one end of the island to the other. I think we've made significant impact in taking people away from them over the last couple of years, and this is a type of program which we hope will continue to reduce those numbers.
The police commissioner was quoted as saying a couple of years ago there was as many as 300 residents who were involved in some way in gang activity. Do you feel like that's an accurate statement, and is that number lesser, or do we have more people involved in gang activity now?
I would prefer to stay away from a number because we can never be exact on it. Obviously, the police commissioner would have more updated information than me. What we would prefer to do at the Ministry of National Security is just to continue to deal with the challenge that we have, and this program today will help us greatly in that. Julia.
What was the thought behind the primary schools? I know that this school has had some upsetting incidents over the last couple of years. Did that play a factor in which schools you chose to launch right there or no?
No, the program's already started here, and I always enjoy coming to this school, and we got some wonderful children here, so we just happened to pick it because it's central, and I'm sure you'll see us on other doorsteps in the education department as well. Ciola, anybody else?
When do you think this program will bear fruit? When will you see an effect on the gang crime statistics because of this program? Do you know?
That's hard to measure, but I think any time that you launch a program from the first lesson that the fruit is starting to grow on that tree, and I think it's a very positive program that has continued to show success in the United States, and that's why we brought it back here now.
You mentioned that. Where has the model worked? Is there any specific locale or city where it's worked?
You could take a look at some of the programs that run in the States. It's been very successful throughout much of the department and much of the states, and that's why even though some of the U.S. ministries have changed, they've continued to have this program in the juvenile justice department.
I have a voice, but the statement, and I know it's been said before, but a big concern is the recruitment of young people into that gang lifestyle and how they need to do stuff on the front end. So could you, as minister, speak to the future and the importance of why we need to keep moving forward on that for the record?
Yeah, sure, and I hope you get your voice back. Programs like GRADE and Teen Peace that also runs within the Department of Education are all planks in our quest to try to make Bermuda a safer place and bring our young people up in an environment that they're comfortable with. There's no quick or easy solution to anything. And just as the police will tell you, there's no easy way for them to solve any cases. And what we've tried to do within the Ministry of National Security, with our colleagues in education, with our colleagues in community and sports, is to support the police in the work that they need to do, but also to continue to build community programs that can reach out there and influence our young people, the future of this paradise home that we love, to make the right decisions. And these type of programs can be very beneficial. So I'm pleased to see that some of the young people have been here today, and I wish them all the best in those programs, because what we teach them in our schools and what we show them out on the streets will be their guiding going forward. And so we need to stand up and counter some of the negative social behavior that we see too often in Bermuda. Any other questions?
Could you talk about why it's important to start as young as P5? Just talk about why that's important.
Because our young people start to learn at a very young age. And the GRADE program has been very successful with young people. And the Teen Peace program that I referred to a couple of moments ago in some of my remarks, that focuses on middle school and high school students. So we try to catch them all the way through. Anyone else want to say any comment?
I just want to say, good morning, everyone. I just want to say that we're very happy to have the GRADE program here at Victor Scott School. We try our best to encourage our students to make healthy lifestyle choices. And as the reporter said earlier, we have had some experience in the past, but what we want when our students walk into these gates to know that this is their safe haven and that they do have an alternative to the lifestyle that they see outside in their neighborhoods. We just want them to make those positive choices. So we're glad that we're starting at this age because we know that these boys and girls have been exposed to things, but we want to counter that exposure and let them know that there is an alternative to the lifestyle that they see outside of here. So we're very grateful to have the program here.
And what's your name?
Trevor?
Valerie Williams, Principal, Victor Scott.
Have any of your staff, your teachers noticed any of the body language, the lingo, or something?
No, we saw that in the past, but those students have left. So we're not seeing any of that. We're not seeing any of that, but we just want to make sure that it doesn't come back. But we're definitely not seeing that.
Dr. Simmons, just before we go.
No, Dr. Matthews.
Matthews.
Dr. Matthews, I'm sorry, I was through that. Both please. Could you just give me the boy factor comment? Because I know you've been vocal and concerned. And you've had a lot of reports about impact on black males in particular. Can you just give me a title in education again and speak to the boy factor? That's the clip right there.
Yeah, Director of Educational Standards and Accountability.
Thank you.
One of the things that the police have been really calling out to our communities for is to move beyond simple suppression, but they needed support with things like prevention and intervention. And these are one of those programs, particularly for our young men, right? They need these alternatives, these things that help them to make positive choices as they move forward. That's the biggest deterrent to recruitment into a gang lifestyle. That is the adoption, the embracing of a positive living. And these kinds of programs like Teen Peace and the GRADE program and others, Chain Reaction I want to say is another one as well. These kinds of programs really get at the heart of how young people make these decisions that help them move forward in a positive way. You know, it's not enough, but it's a great start.
Thank you.